Mr. President, we thank the Secretary General for his comprehensive briefing on his visit to Ukraine last week. I also join my Foreign Minister in conveying our greetings today to the people of Ukraine on the occasion of their Independence Day. As we meet to mark 6 months since the beginning of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, India is ready to dispatch its 12th consignment of humanitarian aid to Ukraine, consisting of 26 types of medicines, including hemostatic bandages meant to stem the bleeding of deep wounds in children and adults. This was a specific request by the Ukrainian side, and we have made sure that we will be reacting in the fastest possible time to meet this. In the last 6 months, India has dispatched 11 consignments of approximately 97.5 tons of humanitarian aid to Ukraine and neighboring countries such as Romania, Moldova, Slovakia, and Poland. Ukraine and its neighboring countries had offered their full support in the relief and evacuation operation of around 22,500 Indian nationals in February-March this year. This humanitarian aid and assistance symbolizes the human-centric development approach of the Government of India, a central tenet of our national beliefs and values, which perceives the whole world as one family. India remains deeply concerned over the situation in Ukraine. The conflict has resulted in loss of lives and countless miseries for its peoples, particularly for women, children, and the elderly, with millions becoming homeless and forced to take shelter in neighboring countries. We believe that going forward, we need to focus on the following aspects. 1. In terms of diplomacy, India continues to advocate for an immediate cessation of hostilities and an end to violence. We encourage talks between Ukraine and Russia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has himself more than once spoken to them in this regard. 2. The ground situation calls for sustained prioritization of urgent humanitarian relief. I have just elaborated that we continue to give the highest priority to the requests that we receive in this regard. We also reiterate the importance of the UN guiding principles of humanitarian assistance. Humanitarian action must always be guided by the principles of humanitarian assistance, that is, humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence. These measures should never be politicized. 3. We will work with the international community and partner countries to mitigate the economic hardships that are resulting from this conflict. The impact of the Ukraine conflict is not just limited to Europe, exacerbating concerns over food, fertilizer, and fuel security, particularly in the developing countries. 4. Food security remains a major concern. It is necessary for all of us to adequately appreciate the importance of equity, affordability, and accessibility when it comes to food grains. India has been approached for the supply of wheat and sugar by many countries, and we are responding positively. In the last 3 months alone, India has exported more than 1.8 million tons of wheat to countries in need, including to Afghanistan, Myanmar, Sudan, and Yemen. 5. We are also trying to increase the production of essential agrarian inputs like fertilizers in India. There is also a need to focus on the availability of fertilizers and keep the supply chains of fertilizers smooth at a global scale. 6. Efforts should be made to ensure stability in the global supply of fuel commensurate with demand. Open markets must not become an argument to perpetuate inequity and promote discrimination. 7. We have delivered for the world in terms of vaccines. We did it earlier for medicines. So I would like to assure this Council that India will step forward whenever the Global South is constrained on aspects of food, health, and energy security, and we will do this in a manner that is helpful to the global economy and does not take undue advantage of countries in distress. To conclude, India's approach will be to promote dialogue and diplomacy with an overarching aim to end the conflict and work with other partners to mitigate the economic challenges emerging from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Mr. President, it is in our collective interest to work constructively, both inside the United Nations and outside, seeking an early resolution to this conflict. We continue to reiterate that the global order be anchored on international law, the UN Charter, and respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of states. Thank you.